Good morning.
Good morning.
Off to the plan. Okay. I am. Abbas. No, it's good. It's all good. I'll get it done. Just give me just a minute.
All right, excuse me, who are you here for?
It's already.
All right, is your client on bond or in custody?
Last time I knew he was on bond, right?
All right, so the cases for Friday have been reset. If you remain in the courtroom, Ms. Ferguson will know what date it's been moved to,
Thank you.
because we have a jury trial that's starting up at 9:30.
I appreciate your honesty.
Sure.
No. You also be a.
This trial will conclude today. At least that's what's anticipated. But, all right, thank you. But if you,
I have one on Monday, doctor.
if you want, and if you're able to get in touch with your clients, you can ask Ms. Ferguson if they can be called for that date as well.
That's what I wanted to see what the plans were.
1 year partial GPS.
Oh, he has, what's partial, he can work?
He works.
What's partial, he can go to work. Does he have a time for it?
It's, well, apparently the agreement is 1 year partial GPS work purposes only.
For what?
Work purposes only.
Oh.
Oh,
I got this, I already, yeah, I got,
sorry.
I got the six. I did this all last night. I'm glad it actually sent to me. Because I didn't have time to do it this morning. Yeah.
You know, it's,
Dan Miley Cyrus song.
I would sign for you. I don't know.
Yes, I wouldn't do that.
Right. Bashan, on Parada, I see that I already ordered for him to have employment. So probation is okay with the travel, correct?
The next one-
All of what I can tell. Big Daddy staplers. Everything's going well. He's submitted DUAs when he should submit them. No issues there. He's reporting. Report. He's completed his change of management course.
All right, you may want to talk to the state, because is he on GPS? Okay. All right. Then I have, he's allowed to travel for employment. You're welcome. Yes, and on his order, he just puts in Texas. Of course, if something ends up happening, he has to travel out the state, just let probation know.
Yes, sir. He's in constant contact.
All right, thank you.
Guardian.
Oh, I remember this
You don't have
case.
to
Yes.
Okay,
anymore.
all right. You're welcome.
You're gonna call it back.
Yeah, because it's January 15th, not to February 24th.
You can just talk about anything.
Oh, you did sign it.
Yeah,
Oh,
I didn't, I didn't sign that, the, when you took a stick on.
Oh, okay, yeah, I'll sign that one. Okay.
Oh, sorry. Yes.
Go on with it.
Yeah. we're going with that. Okay, awesome.
Thank you. You should. Thank you.
Thank you.
I keep forgetting today is the 20th.
Like Mary Griffin as well.
That reminds me, it's how far ahead the wine.
Is that related to your headache? A little
No. Which is the most disappointing part of this, right?
bit?
That it's not, wasn't even earned.
Anyway, I already emailed her to know that we have. No problem.
Nothing. This trial.
That's what I told him yesterday. I was like, hey. I brought a whole new thing of protein shakes today, this morning. Good.
Oh, wow.
I sent an email out. Yesterday. Everything is good. We're in trial right now.
But thanks for coming. And thanks for coming on time at 9 a.m.
Right.
I love the smell of it. But I don't know. Not a coffee. And Janine is a coffee drinker. No, we. Ginger, you a coffee drinker?
No, but I like hot chocolate.
I'm a sweet eater.
I'll drink coffee with lots of sugar in it. That's pretty much it.
You're the type of girl.
Not a coffee. I wouldn't consider myself a coffee drinker. I will drink coffee. Occasionally I want it, but it has to have like lots of cream and sugar.
I'll drink like those, I'll drink coffee and you drink sugar.
Basically.
I'll drink like those energy drinks, bar.
She's a fun type of girl.
So this is my energy stuff in the morning. It's got one of those like IV packets in it, but it's the energy one, so it's supposedly like 2 cups of coffee. And then I also put like a collagen in it too.
Oh, I
My little thing.
And Norma, there are 2 things that need to be set for hearings ASAP.
You know what? Yes. I did the one.
I just ordered collagen from this company called Spoiled Child. So I haven't started it yet. I'm gonna try it. It's supposedly like mango. Very.
And Caroline, I think
collagen
I've
for?
seen this one.
It just
I
helps
think
with
I've
your
ruled on
skin
that one
and it's
before.
like some.
State and defense, here are jury charges. And of course, that's just for you to review.
He's different than yesterday.
Yes. Trees are being killed. It'd be nice when they go full digital with that.
That's why. So this, they might have filed it before, but this is like, being already, set for sentencing. Did you want to roll on it or? do you want me to-
Anticipated requests.
No. Have Judge Angelini hear that.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Anyone else? No?
Yeah, if there's. Thank you.
Judge, it appears that you read my mind on some things.
Yeah,
Changed.
I try to read both the defense and state's mind. And what I do is I will send things to Barbara and say, this is what's happening in the trial. We're probably going to need something in there. And then if it's not in there, they're going to add the thing about the interpretation.
It's in there.
Okay. And we may not need that. It just depends.
About 3 hours. There's the 2 at-large misdemeanors and the 1 at-large felony. No, but they're not. They're not. There's nothing outstanding after it. So he's saving himself from the next round.
Are you ready? Are they ready?
What?
Like all of your probation.
It has to be the probation. I mean, I'm assuming whatever. I don't know if there's a custody order in place, but he's got to abide by the law with that. But yeah, for partial GPS, probation needs to know. what he is. Well, this is a shopping trip target.
Oh, my goodness.
My little baby girl. One of them. Daughter. And then I have my tomboy dinosaur. doesn't hurt. That's scary. Have my molar
Oh, no.
When?
last night from eating. The candy apple looks so delicious.
They showed us,
And that's-
they showed us some of the.
Obviously, I learned candy apples for me.
Whatever.
I mean, that's 6 months.
It doesn't hurt now, but I'm afraid you're. I probably would.
All right, are you all ready on Castillo?
Named Joe, and he was the coolest looking kid ever. Like literally, she put music on, and he would like get on his phone. Like,
Oh, Norma, can you use? I think Diana is not here.
yes, it is. 5 deferred. It's okay. We're not. Yeah, I'll try to get you a copy of the.
I don't need it.
Okay.
Hi, good morning. All right, court is calling 2022 CR 10840, State of Texas versus Jerry Castillo. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Brittany Mitchell for the state.
for the defense?
Gail Calderola here for Jerry Castillo.
And are you Mr. Castillo? Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes,
The court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Castillo, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Your Honor, actually, we do need to amend. I believe the indictment has.
Just one
Okay.
second. I'm sorry. If y'all could be quiet over there. We're on the record. Yes.
We would move to amend the indictment. The indictment, as it was indicted, has 2 dates on it that are the same. The first date should actually be the 15th day of January.
Any objections
no
from the
objections, Your
defense? All right, Mr. Castillo, do you understand that's a substantive change to the indictment?
Honor. Yes.
All right, and do you understand that your attorney has the right, and you have the right to ask that this case not proceed and that it be re-indicted if the state is able to re-indict the case?
I understand, Your Honor.
And did you understand that your attorney has 10 days to prepare for trial
Yes, ma'am.
based upon this substantive change? All right, do you have any objection to going forward,
No.
knowing that? And do you still wish to go forward?
Sure do.
All right, Mr. Castillo, I'm going to show you what's entitled Court's Admonishment and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you're being charged with is repeated violation of court order or bond conditions, family violence?
Yes.
That is a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine?
Yes.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses?
Yes, fine.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe so.
Mr. Castillo, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea?
No.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you what's entitled plea bargain page. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Off the record. Could we have the interpreter down, please? Call down for an interpreter. All right, thanks.
I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. All right, so we're back on the record. According to the plea bargain agreement, the state recommends deferred adjudication. They will take into consideration JN 2101126, 2101087, and 2098931. And there's to be no contact with Priscilla Martinez. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense?
I already have a
There's a
protective
protective
order.
order.
and-
It's no contact
All
with
right.
the mom.
Okay.
All right, do you understand the plea?
I
To
do,
be the plea?
Your Honor. It's no contact order.
All right, Mr. Castillo, is that the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
State, is that the
Yes.
plea? Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 5 years. There be 200 hours community service restitution, 1 year GPS for work purposes only, and for child care and visitation, parenting classes, compliance with child support orders in the BIPP course. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor. Yeah.
It's going to be you.
No, I mean, that, it's like day-to-day, the day-to-day time. That will be through the other,
I don't know.
It's outside.
so. we're gonna- the
She's
day-to-day-
trying to.
No
have a
problem.
GPS now.
I think determined to the courts.
It's
Or
gonna
do
be,
probation.
it's gonna be subject to the court's order, and we're asking that it be basically to the house except for work and for.
So I just submit my hours.
You'll deal with probation.
Okay, okay.
All right. So outside the agreement, the state is asking that your deferred adjudication be for 5 years. There be 200 hours of community service restitution, 1 year partial GPS for work purposes, childcare and visitation only, parenting classes, compliance with child support orders in the BIPP course. Did you understand those are recommendations by the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
I understand.
Into the offenses charged, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence?
We have to say it's a bit number one and all.
No objections.
Showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial? A right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent.
Yes,
You
Your
need to
Honor.
sign. Did you understand that today the state would be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there would be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing state's exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. The court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, just that he works full time, and there's a lot of community service hours there, and he does work full time. He works 12 hours a day, depending on his shift. And he likes to visit with his children when he's entitled, and there is a court order in place. And we just would request that the court give him a chance on deferred adjudication.
All right, so Mr. Castillo, do you understand that she doesn't want you anymore?
Sorry,
Do you understand that she does not want you anymore?
who are you speaking of?
I'm speaking of Patricia Martinez.
Married, I'm very well aware of that.
Well, here's the
We
thing,
have- We went to family court and this.
but here's the problem. What I'm reading, you don't seem to understand that. That's why the state wants GPS, because you're showing up at her apartment, according to this, asking her where she's going, which is none of your business. And then you're showing up at her place of employment. No, I mean, this is serious.
Yes, ma'am, I understand, but I'm past that point in my life. I'm ready for new beginnings. I just got my children back from family court. I had to hire lawyers for that too. So I'm very past the point of what you're trying to tell me.
Well, I want,
Very aware. Yes.
well, I want you to be very aware of that.
Very aware now.
And
I'm taking it very seriously.
if you are in any other relationships, when somebody ends it or doesn't want you anymore, you got to let it go.
Yes, ma'am.
So are these children you have with her?
Yes, ma'am.
And what are their ages?
7 and 3.
Okay. All right, this is what the court is trying to do. 5 years deferred adjudication. Take in consideration JN 2101126, 2101087, 2098931. There's to be no contact with Priscilla Martinez. And if there are custody, visitation, and child arrangements, you need to do that through a third party. You
We
understand?
have that already, in place.
Proof of employment within 30 days. There's to be no employment as a home health care provider with minors. 200 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination with booster. Court is not requiring you to do that, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Parenting classes with triple P. Once you complete the parenting classes, the remaining of the community service hours will be waived. There is to be compliance with child support orders. And I'll put this in here, but the conditions of probation always have in there that you are responsible for taking care of your dependents. And so in this case, it's your 2 children. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. Regular UAs, field visits, 1 time per month. And GPS tracking. If tracking will show if he's around her, then we're going to have some issues. The BIPP course. Why are we recommending the BIPP course?
Just with the history, there was no family violence alleged, Your Honor, but it was a very, I would argue, emotionally abusive, intrusive relationships. I think you could benefit from learning how to cope with those situations.
All right, we'll do anger management.
And there's no substance abuse either in the record.
All right, he has to do UAs, and there's anger management. Probation, is there anything else he needs?
No, Your Honor.
Is there anything else you need from the court? Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of defendant's right to appeal. Did you review that with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Does this is plea bargain agreement? Because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. From here on out, everything that you do, you need to ask yourself, is this something that could potentially result in me going to prison for 10 years? You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Will we be excused?
He needs to go over conditions with probation. Probation,
Yes, Your Honor.
can you make sure that that's an intensive anger management course?
Yes, Your Honor.
Because I sense anger issues. All right. Are we ready to proceed on? All right, excuse me. We're going to go back on the record on Mr. Castillo. Can we come back, please? We're not doing anger management. We're doing the BIPP course.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. So probation, that's going to be the BIPP course.
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you. All right, and are we, we're missing one, okay. Yes.
Judge, why don't you just keep your excuse for work? And we'll have fun with yesterday.
Okay.
I know it.
All right, I will do, and I will write a letter if a letter needs to be written.
If
Okay.
you need somebody to shame that he is a journalist.
Okay.
I really feel inspired yesterday.
Okay, let him know that I'll write a letter. Okay. And while we wait for the last juror, I'll just put on the record so we can swear in the interpreter. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2308, State of Texas versus Jose Raimundo Perez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal and Brittany Mitchell for the state.
for the defense?
Good morning, Your Honor. Albert Flores for Mr. Federico Perez.
All right, and we have an interpreter. If you could raise your right hand. Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and Spanish into English? So help you God?
I can go
All right, thank you. If you would state your name for the record.
Carmen Tarragona Mazáez.
All right. And are you Jose Raimundo Perez?
Yes, that I am.
All right, so everyone, we're just waiting for one juror and then we'll start.
Yes, Your Honor.
Oh, everyone's here, so we're going to start. Yes, and what's the juror's name? And so that everyone is aware, the deputy has informed me, state defense. The deputy has informed me that one of the jurors needs a letter because Amazon is almost or is threatening to terminate his employment because they don't believe he's here or because jury duty is not an excuse for Amazon. So is there any objection to the court writing a letter? And I'll let both parties see the letter, writing a letter so he could take to his employer, which is specifically including the law about jury service. Is there? So Deputy Laura is going to give me the name of the juror and then I'll formulate a letter, but before I give it to him, I'll let both parties see it.
Yes, Judge. Are we off the record?
No, we were on the record.
No, are we off the record now?
Yes, we're off the record now.
That would be Amazon.
Yes, it would be Amazon.
Yeah. All right, thank you. Yes, all right, thank you. We're ready? All right.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. Good morning, happy Friday. All right, state, call your next witness, please.
Your Honor, the state calls Raimundo Perez.
All right. All right, can you raise your right hand for me, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Just make sure you keep your voice up so that the interpreter can hear and so that the jurors can hear. All right, state.
Good morning. Can you please introduce yourself to the jury?
My name is Raimundo Perez.
And do you go by any nickname? Or-
Ray is fine.
Ray, you know Jose Perez.
Yes, ma'am.
Who is he to you?
He is my father.
And do you see him today in the courtroom?
Yes, I do.
Can you identify him by clothing?
He's wearing a black coat, his glasses.
Yeah, no, I'd ask the record reflect that he has identified the defendant. Do you know Marissa Salazar?
Yes, ma'am.
And how do you know Marissa Salazar?
She is my partner.
And what do you mean when you say
She's my fiance.
do you share children with her?
Yes, I do.
How many?
2 beautiful babies.
How old are they?
My daughter just turned 1, and my son Nehemiah, he's 3 weeks now.
Was he a Christmas baby?
Just about 3 days after.
So when did you first meet Marissa?
Back in 2017 when we were working together.
Where were you working together?
Bull and Barrel and General Public.
And when did you start dating her?
In 2020.
Do you remember approximately what season it was in 2020?
So we really started dating around, I'd say April, May is when we started hanging out a little bit more. And then we officially became boyfriend and girlfriend in June.
Did you at any time start living together in 2020?
Yes.
Do you know approximately when that was?
It would have been, I think, 2 months into our relationship. I was staying with my sister at the time, and she unofficially moved in. She would just stay, and we'd ask my sister if she could stay, and they had a really great relationship. So unspokenly, she just became a part of the house.
Before moving in, or just in general, had Marissa met your family?
Yes.
Which family members had she met that you can remember?
Pretty much my immediate family, my mother, my father, my sisters, their children.
What was Marissa's family situation like?
She comes from a, I would say, negative and judgy family, if you will. So it gave her a lot of comfort seeing how tight knit me and my family were and how close we were together. She enjoyed being with us quite often. She preferred being with us because of how positive and fun it always was.
And did you ever do any activities together with your family?
Yeah, I mean, we celebrated together. We would hang out. Previous to dating her, I wouldn't go over to my parents a lot because of the previous relationship I was in. But once her and I started dating, we're always going over to my families and just hanging out, spending time with them.
Did you ever take any kind of trips together or anything?
Yeah, we did take a trip to Galveston as a family.
Was that in the summer of 2020?
Yes.
And was your father there for that?
Yes, he was.
How was the relationship between Marissa and your father?
It was very positive. Rissa's father is a certain way with her, so she never felt very close to her father. And seeing how great my dad was, she took a liking to him, and she really respected him and loved him.
So, you said she kind of unofficially moved in. You said a couple months, so maybe August of 2020, does that sound right?
About right.
After that, would there be get-togethers at that house?
Yeah. Yeah, we would hang out, we'd do barbecues and stuff like that.
And where was that house located?
I don't remember the actual address to the place, but it's right off of Marbach and Military.
Okay, so in Bear County?
Yes.
Okay. So, would there be alcohol at these gatherings?
Most of the time, yes.
And how frequently would the family get together at the house?
I'd say maybe every other week.
Okay. Had you seen Marissa get intoxicated with your family?
Yeah, we would have fun.
Now I want to fast forward to, I believe, October 10th of 2020. Was there a get together on that day?
Yes.
And what was the purpose of that one?
We were celebrating my brother-in-law's birthday.
Okay. And what kind of celebration, birthday celebration?
It was his 30th birthday, so we threw him a dirty 30.
And can you kind of explain to the jury what a dirty 30 theme encompasses?
So dirty 30, it's just really, I guess it's a little more out there. There was I know there was a cake with like a butt on it, and there was condoms and stuff like all over the tables and whatnot.
Were there children around?
Yes, but the majority of the time they were inside.
Okay. And who was drinking that night?
Me, Rissa, my brother-in-law, my sister, I believe my cousin maybe had a few, and her husband as well.
Okay, and I think I jumped ahead. Can you list the people who you recall were present at the Dirty 30 party?
I remember it was my brother. My brother-in-law, I'm sorry. My mom.
And I'm sorry, can you say their names?
Kyle, Carol, Megan, Franco, my mother, Maria, my younger sisters, Perla, Lucero, my son, Malachi, my niece and nephew.
And what are your niece and nephews?
Layla and Ben.
Okay, and who are they, the children of?
My sister, Carol, and Kyle.
So that they lived in the house with you?
Yes.
So who owned the house?
My sister and my brother-in-law.
Okay, so how long have you lived with them?
I'd say maybe about I might have been staying there about 4 months at that point.
Were you paying rent to live there, or?
No, I wasn't.
Was it ever a discussion that if you would pay rent, or?
No, whenever I moved out from my ex-wife's house, my sister just kind of said, hey, move in with us, save a little bit of money. I would just help around the house. If she needed money, I would, help her if I needed to, but that was rare.
And so you had a good relationship with your sister?
Yeah, I would buy groceries and stuff like that for the house. I'd cook all the time since it was during COVID, so I had gotten laid off, so I was just at home all the time. I would help clean and cook and stuff.
And did Marissa have a good relationship with your sister?
Yeah, their their relationship was actually really amazing.
So going back to the party on October 10th, Do you recall what kind of alcohol was being served?
I remember Rissa and I were drinking beer. Mostly, there was a lot of beer. There might have been a bottle of Fireball.
And what is Fireball?
Fireball is a cinnamon whiskey.
Do you, how much did you drink that night?
I really couldn't tell you. I know I had a number of beers and a couple of shots.
Did you ever feel intoxicated that night?
Yeah, I felt a good buzz.
What about Marissa? Did you see what she drank that night?
She had a couple beers too, and she might have had a shot with us as well.
Now there was some testimony about how the party was set up. Can you explain for the jury what, like the tables, how the tables were arranged outside a little bit more?
Yeah, the tables were right underneath the carport. And I mean, the cake was there. We had all our stuff, plates and stuff.
How many tables were there?
I believe it was 2 or 3 of the white
And
tables.
Was there one long table that you remember?
I guess essentially that's how we put it together. It was 2 or 3 tables that we put together to make kind of just
Okay,
one.
so it was
wall.
really kind of one long table.
Yeah.
Okay. So, do you kind of remember the timeline of the party? You mentioned there was a cake. Did everyone have cake or?
I believe all of us stayed for the cake. We sang happy birthday and everything. We're pretty obnoxious whenever we sing the happy birthday song. So we did that. And I believe my mother and my sister were still there for that, and they probably left shortly after the cake.
Okay. Do you recall roughly, what time the party was taking place, like from early evening, late evening?
Probably later on in the evening. Is usually we say a certain time and it ends up being later. So if I had to pinpoint, I'd say maybe around like 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock is when we kind of really got started with dinner and everything.
Okay. Do you recall what was for dinner?
I don't.
Now Marissa, do you recall if she had work or anything that day?
Yeah, she did work.
And do you remember what time she got home from work?
It was probably some point around maybe like 6 o'clock.
And what did she do after she got home from work?
She rested. She was pretty tired. She had gotten very little sleep the night prior, so she got home and everything. She got into her pajamas and she took a nap.
Okay, and she took a nap at the house.
Yes.
Do you recall your father being at the party that night?
Yes.
Was he there early on or later?
Later.
Do you know why that was?
Work.
So, by the time he got there, had there been people drinking already?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How was Marissa that night? Can you tell me how she was kind of throughout the night?
Yeah, I mean, she was fine. She ate a little bit. I remember that, and we drank, and I mean, she got buzzed after a little while. She had very little to eat that day.
Is it safe to say that the majority of the celebrations happened outside the house?
Yes.
Okay. So, you mentioned that your mother and your sister left. Do you remember approximately when that was?
Maybe around midnight.
And do you recall a time when Marissa went to bed?
Not a particular time. I just remember being the one to walk her to the room and lay her down.
Why was it that she went to bed?
She started seeming a little bit buzzed, so And I know she was tired from working and having ate very little that day. I just thought it was a good idea for her to stop drinking, and the only way I could keep her from drinking, I guess, would be going to lay her down and take her to bed.
Was she involved in any kind of argument or anything before she went to bed?
No, ma'am.
Was she like passing out on the table or anything like that?
No.
So when, and did she agree that she needed to go to bed?
Yeah, she was tired.
Have you seen her intoxicated before?
Yes, I have.
Have you seen her pass out from intoxication?
No.
Now this night you said you helped her to bed. Was she able to stand on her own?
Yes.
And so was she, so you weren't dragging her to bed or?
No, ma'am.
Okay. She was walking herself?
Yeah.
Okay. Is it safe to say you were just steadying her?
Yeah, I definitely was just holding her waist and just walking her over to the room.
And when you put her to bed, did you tuck her in? Did you just lay her down?
Yeah, so I mean, she didn't change. She stayed in what she was wearing. She laid down, and I remember covering her after I laid her down. You know, I waited till she fell asleep. And then I left, turned off the light, closed the door, and then I went back out.
After you put her, you helped her go to bed. Do you recall her getting out of bed at all?
Yes, I remember seeing her outside once afterwards.
Okay. And what was she doing?
She was covered in a blanket. She went and she sat in a chair kind of far away from me by the garage, compared to where I was sitting. And she was just kind of looking around.
What time was that?
I really couldn't tell time.
Let's talk about your bedroom. How common is it? Well, yes. Is the house, did you trust everybody in the house?
Yes, ma'am.
So, when would you close the door to your bedroom?
Just before bed.
Do you recall taking Marissa to the bathroom at all before she went to bed?
No, ma'am.
So you saw Marissa sitting with a blanket. Do you remember, was this shortly after you put her down, or was it?
It was a good amount of time that had passed, and we had been out there for quite a while, and she came back out.
And she walked herself out.
Yes.
Was she walking steady at that point?
Yeah, I would say she was walking pretty steady.
What did you do when you saw her in the chair?
I mean, I just looked over at her. I don't remember if she spoke to me or anything, but I kind of was just looking at her, and shortly after she got back up and went back inside.
And then, did anyone talk to her when she went out?
Not that I recall.
So, when was the next time you saw her?
The next time I saw her was when Kyle got me and told me that I really needed to go and talk to her.
And how much time would you, I mean, it's been 2 years, but would you estimate between when you saw her in the blanket and go back inside to when Kyle said you need to talk to her?
I'd say maybe 5-10 minutes.
So did you go to talk to her?
Yes, ma'am.
When you were approaching, did you go to the bedroom?
Yes.
When you were approaching the room, was the door open or shut?
It was shut and locked.
Was it normal for the door to be locked?
No, ma'am.
Um, Had you ever seen Marissa lock the door?
No, ma'am.
So it was locked, so how did you get in?
If I'm not mistaken, Kyle had a key and he unlocked it.
And when you went in there, were the lights on?
Yes,
And where was Marissa?
she was laying in bed. Or sitting up in bed.
And what was her demeanor?
I guess you could say her face was kind of flushed.
Red?
Yeah,
Did she look bothered? Did she
yeah, it
sleep?
seemed like she was breathing pretty heavily.
Does Marissa get panic attacks?
No,
All right, if you repeat that question.
Is it common for Marissa to have panic attacks?
no, ma'am.
Have you ever seen her have a panic attack?
No, ma'am.
So what did you do next?
I asked her what was going on because Kyle had told me that I needed to go in there and talk to her, so I did, and I asked what was wrong.
Without going into did she seem upset when you talked to her?
Yes,
And were you trying to ascertain why she was upset?
yeah, I was asking what was wrong.
And what did she tell you?
When she first spoke, she hesitated. She took a little time before she actually said anything. She was, I guess you could say, almost hyperventilating. And then she said, "Your dad." And then I started pacing back and forth, and I was like, "My dad, what?" And I kind of knew where.
I'm gonna object, it's non-responsive to the question, and it's listening hearsay.
Sustained.
You said she started, you said hyperventilating?
Mhm.
And did it seem like it was something that had just occurred?
Yes,
And while she was in that state of hyperventilating, did she tell you anything?
yes, she did.
And what did she tell you?
She told me.
Object to, question request is asking for hearsay.
Sustained.
What do you mean by hyperventilating?
She was breathing very fast.
Was she crying?
Yes.
Did it seem like she was stopping to think about what she was going to say before she said it, or was she just saying what was on her mind?
No, she didn't straight up go out and tell me what was going on. She hesitated.
All right. Were you concerned for her?
I was.
Did she, without saying what she said, did she eventually tell you?
Yes, she did.
Okay. And what did you believe had occurred?
Your Honor, I'm gonna object, it's asking for speculation from this witness.
Sustained.
Based on what she told you, were you angry with your father?
I was.
So you had previously testified that your father got there later in the evening.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you recall being with your father that night?
Yes.
Was it You said your mother left around midnight. Was it after your mother left? that
Yes.
He came?
Yeah, he got there after my mom had left.
And had your father been to the house before?
Yes,
Did he know where your bedroom was?
yes,
Did he know that Rissa would sleep there?
yes.
Do you recall a point in the night? Where your father went inside the house?
Yeah, just to go to the restroom.
And was this before or after Rissa had gone to bed?
This was after.
And once you spoke to Marissa and you said you were angry at your father, what happened next?
Rissa begged me not to go outside. She wanted me to stay in the room with her. And not confront him. She was scared of what would happen. But I still ended up going outside. I remember just sitting in the doorway. This was the front entrance of the house. And like I said, the tables were all set up under the covered patio, the covered parking spot. So I could see directly where my father was sitting, and I was just staring at him.
What was your father's demeanor?
I guess you could say confused and concerned.
Who else was there?
My cousin Megan, her husband Branko, my sister Carol, and my brother-in-law Kyle.
Okay. What were they doing?
They were still just hanging out, drinking, conversating.
At some point, did conversations get heated?
You could say that, yes.
Okay, and how did that start? Without saying what was said, who started?
After so long of me staring at my father, and I did end up going back inside, and I was really, really upset. So I just kind of had to release some of that anger. So I started hitting a wall. And after I did that, I went back out. Again, I stared at my father, and that's when he got up and he approached me to ask what was wrong.
What did he say to you?
Objection, Your Honor, is calling for hearsay.
Overruled.
What did he say to you?
He asked what happened.
And what did you tell him?
I just asked if he was serious.
And what was his reaction?
I'm gonna object to this line of questioning. It's eliciting hearsay.
Overruled.
He was just confused, staring at me. I asked again if he was serious. He was like, "What do you mean? What are you talking about?"
And what was his was he jovial talking to you? What was his kind of, I guess, put us in the moment of what his reactions were?
I guess he was almost, you could say, kind of passive about the situation. As I kept asking if he was serious, he was just staring at me, smirking, just asking me what happened. And before I could even say anything else about the situation, I was just, I couldn't bring myself to say or to accuse him of what Rick was accusing him of doing. I more so wanted him to tell me what he did.
Mhm. And did he say anything else to you?
No, ma'am.
So what happened next?
At some point, Carol got up because she was watching all our altercation and what was going on. I remember her getting up out of her chair and she started pushing him.
Did he say anything when Carol was pushing him?
I'm gonna object, that's requesting an answer that was hearsay.
Sustained.
So you said Carol was pushing your father, the defendant,
Yes.
and what was the defendant's response after she pushed him?
He kind of just kept backing up. Yeah, he didn't like try to push back or anything like that. He was just taking it basically.
Okay. Was Carol accusing him of anything?
Yes.
I'm gonna object that question, just listening to your second.
All right, you're able to answer the question, but you're not able to say what she said. You want to repeat your question?
Was Carol accusing him of anything?
Yes, ma'am.
And at any time, did he deny the accusation?
No, ma'am.
So, where was Marissa during this?
She was in the bedroom.
So what happened next?
I remember Carol pushing him all the way towards the street where his truck was at, in front of the house. I went over there. They were exchanging words, or more so Carol was doing most of the talking. My mind was all over the place. So once he was pushed all the way to the truck, I assumed that he was gonna leave. We were telling him that he needed to get out of there, that he needed to leave. And in knowing the fact that he was gonna leave soon, I went back inside and I called my mom.
Before he left, did you say anything to him before he left?
Yes. I remember going back out there and I told him that
I'm gonna object to the hearsay, Your Honor.
Right, that'll be overruled.
I remember going back out there and telling him that I wanted him to remember October 11th as the day that he lost his son.
So, after he left, what did you do?
That must have been when I was on the phone with my mother and I was just telling her what had happened. And I was warning her that he was more than likely headed back home to her. And I just wanted to
I'm
fill
gonna
her in.
object to the relevance of this question.
All right, that'll be sustained.
Who was the first person who brought up getting law enforcement involved?
Carol.
And how was Marissa? When the idea of law enforcement came up?
Originally, she didn't know if she wanted to get law enforcement involved.
Do you recall if Marissa changed clothes or anything like that after you left?
Afterwards, she did jump in the shower. So she obviously got undressed from the clothes that she was wearing originally. She took a shower, came back in the room afterwards and changed.
Okay. And did you stay with Marissa that day?
Up until the point that she left, yes, ma'am.
And where do you know where she was going?
Originally, no, until I called her and she said that she was going to her sister's.
When did you first learn that law enforcement was involved?
It must have been the following day, or that day, only later on.
Um. Just, I want to clarify something. When you saw your father leave the group while Marissa was in bed, did he go by himself?
Yes.
Um. So. Do you still live at that house?
No, ma'am.
When did you stop living at the house?
Around April.
Of this year?
No, April 2021.
And you said your family was very close
Yes, ma'am.
before. How are they now?
There's some tension. I still have a great relationship with my father and my younger sisters. The relationship with my sister Carol and my brother-in-law Kyle was a little strained. We don't talk much. We don't see each other much.
I'm gonna object to relevance discussion.
Oh, that'll be overruled.
Is it, is it because of this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Um. So financially, you have to pay for your own place now.
Yes, ma'am.
Um. So do you still talk to your father?
No, ma'am.
And at any time after this, did you and Marissa ever separate or anything like that?
You mean as a partners?
As partners?
No, ma'am.
Have you always, so you've always stayed with her?
Yes, ma'am.
Um. Do you, well, um. Did you see a change in Marissa after this happened?
Yes.
Object to the relevance of that question.
Oh, that'll be overruled.
Yes, ma'am. There was a change.
How so?
In the beginning, she was very depressed. She was still staying there for quite some time after. She would cry in her sleep, not able to wake up. I'd have to hold her in her sleep. She would just cry and essentially yell.
How's Marissa's relationship with your family?
It's gotten a lot better with her family.
But with your family?
With my family, it's strained.
Um. Going back to the party, I believe you said there was a Megan and a Franco at the
Mhm.
party. Who are those people?
That's my cousin and her husband.
Do you recall when they left?
It must have been shortly after my father had left.
When there was the argument between your father, you and Carol, do you remember who else was present? Who would have seen it?
Megan, my cousin, Franco, her husband, and Kyle.
And what were they doing?
I believe they were still sitting at the table where we were all hanging out and drinking.
What does your father do for work?
He owns a mechanic shop.
Who is the primary financial support for the family?
My father.
Does your mother work?
No, ma'am.
Has she ever worked?
Not since we've been born, my older sister included.
So is it safe to say that they rely on your father? for-
Your Honor, I'm gonna object to the relevance of these questions.
Sustained.
I'll pass the witness.
Defense.
Thank you. Mr. Pettis. Please, good morning, sir. My name is Albert Flores. I represent Mr. Jose Ramon Pettis. I've got a few questions for you. You and I have never met, right?
Correct,
You've never spoken before?
correct.
So in the course of me looking into this case, I kept hearing a name that they refer to you as. And so do you have another nickname other than Ray?
Yes, check it.
Check it. And who gave you that nickname?
I believe it was a member of my father's family.
So which nickname is used more, Ray or Check it?
Whenever I'm with my family, it's check it.
All right, and you said that your father owns a mechanic shop?
Yes, sir.
Do you know how long he's had the mechanic shop?
I'd say now over probably 25 years.
Is that here in San Antonio?
Yes, sir.
And when you say he was working, and that's why he showed up late, is that the only business he owns, or? Is that
Yeah,
what
that's the only business he owns.
Have you ever worked for him there?
Yes, sir.
And when's the last time you worked for him?
Probably years. I would just go every so often to help out.
So you testified to a couple of different events and timelines. Before I get into each individual specific one, is it possible you were mistaken about your order of events and about your timeline?
No, sir.
You're absolutely positive about what you just testified.
As I recall, yes, sir.
So you had worked, it sounds like in the bar business for a while,
Correct.
and were you working in the bar business when this happened?
No, sir. I was furloughed due to COVID.
Because of the COVID, right?
Correct.
Okay. So would you say that your opinion of people's intoxication levels might not be the same as your average person?
Object to speculation.
That will be sustained.
But you certainly have a different perspective from people than your average person, because you used to work in the
Object to
bar.
speculation.
All right. If both sides remember, the court reporter is taking things down. So one person speaks at a time. Can you repeat your question, please?
Yes, sir. But certainly because of your bar experience, you have a different perspective of what people look like when they're intoxicated, or how they act.
All right.
Object to speculation, Your Honor.
All right, that will be overruled.
I wouldn't say that per se, simply because being a bartender and getting licensed and whatnot, we take responsible alcohol service very seriously. So we have to monitor our guests and motor coordination and all that stuff. So
it sounds like you do have a different perspective than the average person.
okay, yes, I guess so.
All right, so when you say that you had a few beers, do you recall how many beers you had?
I don't, sir.
And it was certainly more than 5 or 6, right?
More than likely.
And when you said you had shots, you said maybe, I think it was maybe 1 or 2.
Correct.
Could it be more than that?
It could be, yes.
And you mentioned one brand of alcohol that they were passing around for shots. What brand of alcohol was that?
Fireball.
And there was no other alcohol being passed around for shots?
I believe there was another bottle. I just simply can't recall what it was.
But there have been 3 or 4 different kinds of liquor?
I'd say 2 or 3.
2 or 3. But you initially had only said 1, right?
Correct.
And what I think what you're trying to say is that the 2 or 3, you don't really recall what the brands were, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay. But there were at least 2 or 3 bottles being passed around for purposes of shots, right?
Yes, sir.
And this was kind of a celebratory environment, right?
Yes.
There was nothing different about you guys taking shots with the family.
Correct.
So I think you testified that you had parties, maybe not this big, but you had gatherings, you get together and parties about every other week.
I would say so. Yes, we hung out quite often.
Okay. And were the parties set up more or less the same?
Pretty much either we set up in the front, under the covered, parking, like the, parking spot, or in the backyard.
Okay. Okay. And you said you've been living at the house somewhere more than 4 months, or at least 4 months?
At least 4 months, yes.
And the room that you were staying at, whose room was it previous?
My nephew's, Ben.
And where did he go after you moved in?
He moved to the other room with his sister.
So just because your maybe your memory or your perception is at issue here, were you taking any medications that would have affected your memory or perception that day?
No, sir.
Were you taking any controlled substances?
No, sir.
And you spoke briefly, you answered briefly when the prosecution asked you about a vacation you guys had taken.
Correct.
Where was that vacation?
In Galveston.
And how many people were participating in that vacation?
If I remember correctly, it was me, my fiance, my father, my mother, my sister Perla, my sister Lucero, my sister Carol.
Let me ask you this way, was it mostly the people that were at this party?
Yes,
So it seems like this was a family unit that frequently got together.
correct.
Was there drinking at that party in Galveston?
Oh, yeah.
And that was kind of something that y'all just did, right?
Yeah, I mean, we got
Legal,
together,
you guys
we,
were of age.
yeah, we had fun, drank together, just spent time together.
So I asked you initially, whether you were certain about your timeline and your order of events, and you said you were pretty certain, right?
Correct.
And so let me ask you, what time do you believe that your father arrived at the party?
It must have been around 1 or 2 in the morning.
And when your father arrived, was your mother still there?
No,
And when your father arrived, was Marissa still seated at the table, or had she already been put to bed?
she had been put to bed already.
So at that point, there's no way Mr. Pettis would have seen Marissa when he got there.
Object to speculation, lack of personal knowledge.
Sustained.
Did you see your father interact with Marissa when he arrived?
No, sir.
And what you told us is that she was no longer there when your father arrived, is that correct?
Correct.
Neither was your mother.
Correct.
There was multiple children that lived at that house, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And they stayed in one of the extra, or the extra room, right?
Yes, sir.
Were they at that party?
Yes, sir.
And were there additional children that did not live at that house who were at that party?
Yes, sir.
And what were they doing throughout the night?
Most of the night they were hanging out in the living room. Most of them are on their tablets, on their games and stuff, just hanging out in the living room.
Okay. And come 2:30 in the morning, they were still hanging out with them.
Yes, sir.
Now, when the prosecution asked you if Marissa had been drinking, you said maybe she had a few.
Yes.
Were you serving her her drinks that evening?
I usually grab her beers for her, yes.
And if you give us your best count, how many beers do you think you served her?
I would say at least 4.
So maybe a few to you is 4, right?
Correct.
Okay. How many did other people serve her?
I can't recall anybody else giving her any alcohol.
How many did you see her get herself?
I can't recall her grabbing anything on her own.
So when you're telling this jury that maybe she had a few, you're basing that only on what you served her that night.
Correct.
She could have had more.
Essentially, yes.
And with respect to the shots, how were the shots distributed? Was everybody serving their own, or was there one person walking around?
No, we usually took shots together as a group.
I mean, who served the shots?
Either one of us. It could have been anybody.
In this particular occasion, do you recall who was serving the shots?
I recall pouring one set of shots.
And to the best of your recollection, you also said that she may have had a shot.
Correct.
Is it possible that she had more than a shot?
It is possible.
And so you're basing that again on the one that you recall serving her.
Yes, sir.
But certainly there could have been other people that served her more shots.
Of course.
So. Yeah, this, just to get straight on the timeline, according to your testimony. Prior to Mr. Pettis even getting to the party is when you made the decision or you made the recommendation that Marissa go to bed.
Yes, sir.
And do you recall what time that was?
Probably around 1.
Do you remember where Marissa was sitting? And maybe a better question is, do you remember who was sitting around her at the time that you asked her to go to bed?
She would have been sitting on my left-hand side.
And who was next to her?
Kyle.
And isn't it true that one of the reasons you asked her to go to bed is because she was upsetting people at the party?
That's incorrect.
Not true.
Not true, sir.
And I'm not saying arguing, but I'm saying she was saying things that were upsetting people.
I don't recall that, no.
So it's possible then it could have happened.
Object speculation, object asked and answered.
Sustained.
From your perspective, you're saying that that's not what you did.
Correct.
And you mentioned that at that point, maybe she had a good buzz.
Correct.
And I ask you this for the jury, it's not a scientific term to use, good buzz.
No, sir.
That's just your opinion of what you think somebody.
When somebody's intoxicated, yes, sir.
So when somebody has a good buzz, it means they're intoxicated. Right?
Correct.
At that point, was Marissa having trouble speaking?
I wouldn't say so.
And at that time, was she having trouble walking?
No, sir.
So, but you did testify that you were guiding her by the waist.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Correct.
And what was the reason for that?
Embracing my fiance, walking alongside her.
And I mean, do you typically walk her to bed?
Usually we would go to bed together.
Oh, sorry. And I just looked at my notes here, but originally you testified that she had a couple of beers. And by she, I mean Marissa. What you mean by a couple of beers then is 4
Correct.
in this case.
Correct.
So typically people say a couple of beers means 2, but that's not what you.
Object asked and answered.
Sustained.
So when you walked her to the room, You were walking with her, guiding her by the waist, right? What entrance did you use to get in the house?
It would have been the door from the kitchen to the garage. So he went through the garage into the kitchen towards the bedroom.
Did she have any trouble walking, any kind of stumbling?
No, sir.
Who followed you? Into the bedroom?
I don't recall anybody following.
Nobody followed you.
Not that I recall.
And so. Okay. When you get to the bedroom. That is the bedroom that you're staying.
Correct.
That is the bed that you've been sleeping in for the past 4 months, correct?
Correct.
Who is in that bedroom?
Up until the point that we walked in there, it was empty.
Is it possible that you were intoxicated at that point?
It is possible.
Is it possible that you're not remembering exactly what happened?
No, sir.
Not possible.
No, sir.
And you mentioned that you put her to bed. Did you speak to anybody while you were in there?
No, sir.
See anybody else while you were in there?
No, sir.
And you testified that you turned off the light and left.
Correct.
Run into anybody else in the hallway when you left.
No, sir.
And the kids were still inside the house, right?
Correct.
Let me clarify something that we talked about before. When you say kids, you're referring to the smaller, younger kids, right?
Yes, sir.
And you have 2 younger sisters that were at the party.
Yes, sir.
Were they inside the house?
They must have been gone at that point.
But during the party, did they spend most of their time inside the house or outside the house?
They were outside, as well as my mother.
So sitting at the table.
Yes,
And so those were 2 young people, but not the youngest ones that were sitting outside the house.
correct.
And do you see them in the courtroom today?
Yes,
Could you point to them? The record reflected. There's one young lady sitting behind the defense table. And what is her name?
Perla Perez.
And Perla came with your mother
Correct,
and left with your mother.
correct,
And she was sitting at the outside table, right?
correct.
So, I think you testified earlier that there was a point in time where Kyle approached you,
Yes, sir.
and where was Kyle coming from?
From the inside of the house.
Do you know what he was doing inside the house?
No, sir.
He didn't tell you what he'd been doing inside the house?
No, sir.
You know how long he had been inside the house?
No, sir.
And, that house only has 2 bathrooms, doesn't it?
Correct.
Did you designate one as a women's bathroom or men's bathroom, or how did you split up those bathrooms?
There was no order. There's one in the hallway and one in the bedroom. Usually we only use the main one. The one in the bedroom kind of is. I don't know, I feel like the bedroom's a sacred place, so we usually wouldn't go into my sister's.
And so that bedroom is tied into the master bed, I'm sorry, that bathroom is tied into the master bedroom. Right?
That's correct,
So generally speaking, people don't use that bathroom.
correct.
And so at that point, how many people, and just give me a rough number, do you think were at that party,
Including children,
including children?
I'd say at least 20,
So 20 people were sharing one bathroom.
correct,
And so 20 people would have to walk in and out of the house, to use that bathroom, right?
correct.
After you had walked Marissa into her bedroom and you closed the door and you left, did you ever come back?
Yes, I did.
How many times did you come back?
From what I recall, I went back one time.
And did you go to the bathroom or did you go to see?
Both,
Did you use the common bathroom or the master bedroom?
the common bathroom.
And how long after she'd been put to bed did you do that?
I really couldn't tell you.
It was more than 30 minutes, if you remember?
I'd say maybe an hour.
And did you check in on her?
Yes, sir.
Still asleep?
Still asleep,
Still in bed?
still in bed, uncovered, covered her back up, closed the door.
And you said you put her to bed roughly at 1 or 1:30?
Around 1.
So this may have been around 2-ish.
Yes,
That you went to go check.
correct.
Did you see anybody in the house that time?
No, sir. Except the kids in the living area.
We don't have a very good picture of the house. So explain to the jury in the number of steps, how many steps would it take to get you from the living room to that common bathroom?
From the living area, I'd say maybe 10 steps.
If you know, do you know whether Kyle and Carol were using the common bathroom or their own master bedroom bathroom?
I couldn't tell you.
But you also testified earlier that the next time you saw Marissa was when she was outside.
Correct.
And I think you said that you saw her wrapped up in a blanket.
Yes, sir.
Was there anything strange about the way she was dressed?
No, sir.
And you said she did not speak.
Correct.
Did people try speaking to her?
I believe we tried getting her attention. And shortly after, she got up and went back.
Did you make a joke about that?
Not that I recall.
Did anybody make a joke about that?
I couldn't tell you a definite answer on that.
And then you saw her walk inside.
Correct.
Did you see anything about the way she was walking, her demeanor that stood out?
No, sir.
Nothing strange about it.
No, sir.
Then I think you said that very soon thereafter is when everything kind of blew up.
Yes, sir.
Are you absolutely sure about your timeline?
Yes, sir. After she walked back in, shortly after, that's when Kyle came and got me.
And where were you throughout this process? Were you inside the house, outside the house, or were you moving?
I would have been outside.
When you say would have been, it sounds like maybe you're unsure.
Correct.
Unsure because you don't have a memory of that, or
There's a lot of things that took place that day. And, we're drinking, hanging out, going in and out, so.
I guess that's kind of my point, right? Is that you don't necessarily try to remember everything that happens throughout your day, right?
Correct.
And sometimes when you have to recall the memories, they're not perfect recollections, right?
That's correct.
So are you telling us you're doing the best you can today,
Yes, sir.
but it's not perfect?
No, nobody's perfect, sir, no.
And so your recollection may be off,
I'd like to
Indeed.
ask and answer.
Sustain.
and, we're not saying you're doing that on purpose, it's just a function of the way we work as humans, right?
Of course.
So when the prosecution asked you who had made the first call to law enforcement, it wasn't you, right?
No, sir.
And it was the owners of the house, it would have been Carol, right?
Correct.
And that was done a day or day and a half later?
Yes, sir.
Does your mom speak English?
Um, a little bit.
Does Marissa speak Spanish?
No, sir.
How would they communicate with each other?
My mom would try her best to speak English to Rissa, and Rissa does pick up on some of the Spanish as well. So they just do the best they can when they speak to each other.
Now, you described the scene at the party after people started getting upset, right?
Right.
And you stated that Carol started pushing the thought.
That's correct.
Is Carol a tall person?
No, sir.
Is she a bigger person?
Yes, sir.
And certainly much shorter than your father.
Yes, sir.
She was pushing him aggressively, right?
Yes, sir.
And you said he didn't react.
No, he kind of just backed away.
And so when she was yelling at him, it wasn't in a nice way, right?
Correct.
And she was also intoxicated.
Correct.
You think that might have been, what, does Carol normally push people around?
No, sir.
Does Carol normally yell at people?
No, sir.
And is it possible that the intoxication is what led to part of it?
Object to speculation, Your Honor.
Sustained.
I'll pass it on, John.
State.
Okay, so as a this was touched on briefly, as a bartender, were you trained to what the legal definition of intoxication is?
Yes.
Okay. And that's because you aren't allowed, I mean, it would be a problem if you let people who are legally intoxicated
That is correct.
drink, right? So, and is the legal standard for intoxication someone falling down, not able to walk, or is it more subtle?
I'm gonna object to the relevance, object to speculation.
Sustained.
So when you say a good buzz means intoxication, do you mean someone who is falling down or someone who, as a bartender, you would have identified as intoxicated?
As a bartender, I would have defined them as intoxicated.
So was Marissa falling down?
No, ma'am.
Did she ever pass out?
No, ma'am.
When you went to Galveston, did you stay in a hotel or was it at home?
We stayed in a hotel.
Did you and Marissa have your own room?
Not when we were there with my family, no.
So did your family share a room?
Yeah, we did. It had the best I can describe it is if I'm not mistaken, it had 3 bedrooms in it, And then her and I stayed in like the living area, which had a pull-out couch.
And did Marissa get intoxicated there?
Yeah, we drank.
Were there any accusations that came out of that?
No.
So where you were in the living room, or I'm sorry, where the kids were in the living room, is there a clear line of sight to the bathroom?
Not necessarily, no.
Okay, can you? Your Honor, may I approach the witness?
Yes.
Are you good at drawing?
No, but I can do my best.
Can you do your best? It doesn't have to be to scale, but just draw a diagram of the layout of the home. So for identification purposes, I'm going to label this state's exhibit number 9. This is the drawing you just made. So, okay, and you labeled it. So front door, carport. So you walk in the front door and it looks like there's a little hallway
Hmm.
and there's that brick wall right there.
Yes.
Your Honor, I'm gonna object to the leading.
Sustained.
Is this a true and accurate depiction of the diagram of the home?
Correct.
Your Honor, I would offer state's exhibit number 9.
May I briefly take the witness on board?
Yes.
Ray, I'm gonna refer to what you just drew as state's exhibit number 9. This is a handwritten estimate of what the house looks like, right?
Correct.
You're not saying that this is to scale,
No, sir.
and you only lived there for between 4 and 6 months, right?
Correct.
And so this is just to the best of your recollection.
Yes, sir.
I have no objections, John.
All right, State's Exhibit number 9, are you offering that into evidence?
And actually, Your Honor, I believe for purposes of the record, State's Exhibit number 9 was actually the officer's report, which was not put into evidence, so this would be State's Exhibit number 10.
All right, any objection?
Okay, Judge.
All right, State's Exhibit number 10 is admitted. Does anyone need a break? Or can we continue? All right. State,
I have a. And then I mean, this. Okay, may I publish, Your Honor?
yes.
Let's see. That's easier to read. Ah, okay, I'm horrible. Here we go. Okay. So I believe on the screen, it's kind of fancy. If you use your finger, it'll actually draw so everyone can see it. So can you put a little or circle the brick wall that you were punching?
On this screen?
Yeah. There you go. Okay. All right. So can you put an X where the table would have been set up? Was it underneath the carport?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And I believe you testified that there's a door somewhere between the garage and the kitchen.
Correct.
Okay, can you mark where that door is? Okay, so directly between, so the garage is not, it is part of the house, but in order to be in the main residence area, you have to exit the garage and go in through the kitchen.
Correct.
Okay. And then let's see, your room, can you put an X on the room that you and Marisa were sleeping in? Okay. And then circle the bathroom, the hallway bathroom. Okay. And can you put an X where the bathroom inside Carol and Kyle's room would have been? Okay. And between the living room and the hallway, how tall is that brick wall?
It goes all the way to the ceiling.
Okay.
All right, if you could repeat that, please.
The brick wall goes all the way up to the ceiling.
Okay. Now, is there, the picture, you have it marked as a square in the living area, is that actually an enclosed area or is it open?
It's an enclosed area.
Okay.
So, right here, there's actually, right here, there's actually these like accordion style doors. And then there's a wall, and then that brick wall's right there as well. So it's kind of like little corner.
Okay. Okay. What about the dining area? Is that open to the hallway?
Not directly. You kind of have to walk a little off in order to get to the hallway.
Okay. And where were the children staying during the party?
They were in the living area.
Okay. Is there a door from the living area to outside?
Just the front door right there, right next
Just
to
the
it.
front door. Okay, is there an entrance from the front door to the living area? Like when you walk in to the
So-
left?
So yeah, as soon as you walk in, that's right there. This whole, from the front entrance to the brick wall, that's kind of open area.
Okay, okay. So the wall would be that brick wall, and then you said that corner and then the accordion doors.
Correct, and that would be the obstruction from the view to the
Okay,
restaurant.
okay. Now, when Marissa went to bed, I believe you testified you went through the garage, through the kitchen. with
Correct.
her. When your father was there, and he went inside, do you recall what door he used?
I don't recall.
Okay. Was there a door that was more common that people used, or was it pretty even?
No, the more common one would have been the garage.
But the garage and that front door were the only entrances from the front where the party
Correct.
was, correct? Okay. Okay. Okay, no further questions.
Just a few more.
Yes.
Great, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm gonna do the same. We talked about roughly when the party started, right?
Correct.
And we talked about roughly when Marissa went to bed.
Mhm.
Roughly what time did everybody go home?
I probably would have been around 5 a.m.
So this incident, the dust up where people were pushing each other and all that, what time do you think that was?
I would say between 4 and 5.
Was it typical of you guys having parties till 4 or 5 in the morning?
I guess you could say yes.
When you saw your father that day, you said he came around, you said 2 in the morning?
Yeah,
Did he start drinking?
yes, sir.
And was he intoxicated?
I don't know if he was drinking prior, so I couldn't tell you.
All right, do you know how many drinks or beers or drinks he had that day?
No, sir, I didn't keep track.
Do you know if he was taking shots with you guys?
I can't remember.
Did you pour him a shot?
Not that I recall.
With respect to that house in that drawing, do you know how many square feet are in that house?
No, sir.
Would you agree with me that it's a relatively small house?
Yes, sir.
There was a couple times where I had to clarify when you talked about a couple of beers, and really when you already knew you meant 4, right? And there was a second time where I said maybe a shot, and you said, well, that could have meant up to 2, with respect to how much Marissa, right? Were you trying to soften the blow, maybe trying to put her in a better light in front of the jury today?
Not necessarily, no, sir.
I mean, she's your future spouse, right?
Of course.
And you have kids with her,
Yes, sir.
and you're standing by her, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's what a partner does.
I'll pass it to you.
No further questions.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused from the state.
Subject to recall.
All right, the rule hasn't been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state of the defense.
Yes, Your Honor.
Make sure you're available if anyone wishes to recall you.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you. State, call your next witness.
We approach real quick.
Yes. And gentlemen, I'm going to give you all a break. We will be back at 11:15. Is that enough time for everyone? All right, you've heard some evidence in this case. You're not allowed to discuss it amongst yourself. You're not allowed to do your investigation. If anybody is talking about it or you see anything about it, disregard it. All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors.
Oh, no, you're fine, you're fine. I
All right, we're back on the record. Oh, can you have your client?
Yes.
All right. We are back on the record outside the presence of the jury. The court has tendered a letter to both the state and the defense as it relates to a juror who may or may not have been threatened with being discharged or fired from his job at Amazon. And the court has, oh, just one moment. And the court has presented a letter that the juror can give his employer with the law about the fines that can be levied for anyone threatening a juror with discharge that he can present to Amazon. State and defense, have you both had a chance to review the court's letter?
Yes, Judge.
Yes.
We have, Your Honor.
All right, any objection from the state or the defense to the court after the close of trial today, or either during a break, giving the juror this letter?
No objection.
No objection from the defense, Your Honor.
All right, and so the record will be clear. The person who will be tendering the letter to the juror will be Deputy Laura. All right, if there's nothing else, are both parties ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can bring them in.
All right, for the jury.
All right, everyone, please be seated. And state, will you call your next witness, please?
Yes, Your Honor. State calls Jamie Pomicol.
All right, could you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll state your name for the record and please spell it.
My name is Jamie, Jamie, Pomykal, Pomykal.
All right, state.
Thank you, Your Honor. Ms. Pomicol, how are you employed?
I am a forensic scientist at the Bexar County Criminal Investigation Laboratory here in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay, and I'm gonna just use for short crime lab for the Bexar County Criminal Investigation Laboratory. Is that okay?
Yes.
So as far as your duties at the crime lab, are there, let me start with this. What does the crime lab do?
So we examine evidence in criminal investigations generally.
Are there different sections of the crime lab?
Yes.
What section do you work in?
I work in the serology DNA section.
Let's first talk about your training and experience. What type of education do you have?
I have a bachelor's degree in biochemistry from Texas State University and a master of science in pharmacy with a concentration in forensic DNA and serology from the University of Florida.
Do you receive any type of training when you come to the crime lab?
Yes.
And can you briefly describe for the jury what that type of training is?
So training includes readings, mock samples, supervised casework, and then we have to take a competency exam before we're allowed to be released for casework.
Okay, so as far as being a forensic scientist with the crime lab, specifically within the serology and DNA section, what is your function there?
So in our section, we look for biological materials on items of evidence. So blood, semen, and saliva typically.
Some people a little bit know what DNA is, but what's serology?
So serology is just the examination and testing of possible biological fluids. There's really no confirmatory that we do for those types of samples, but the DNA kind of covers that.
Okay. And when you say confirmatory, test, what type of test you do in the serology section?
So the type of testing that we actually do for serology is presumptive. And we can say that there is the possible presence of blood, semen, and saliva, but we don't do confirmatory, which in that case, we would say this is blood. We don't do that kind of testing except for semen.
Okay, so saliva and blood, you can do presumptive tests for.
Yes.
And that just means it's presumed to be those two, either one of those two things.
Yes, that's correct.
What is the DNA portion of the serology DNA section?
So for the DNA part in general, we are able to extract the DNA from the biological fluid and develop a profile that we can compare to a profile from a person. So a blood standard from someone or a swab of someone's mouth, which we call a buccal swab.
Okay. So as far as the section and really the standard operating procedures, at least at this time of when you're here to testify about, which types of tests were run first, serology or DNA?
So serology is always performed before DNA.
And then does the serology results guide the DNA testing?
Generally, yes.
Okay. And how so?
So if we have the possible presence of blood, for example, then the DNA analyst would know to extract the DNA there for blood. And it really only guides it in that if we have possible blood or possible saliva, we will retain a sample for further DNA analysis.
Okay. I want to talk specifically about a crime lab case number of 20-06884. Were you involved in either the serology or DNA testing in that case?
The DNA testing, yes.
So you did not participate within, and I say participate, you did not do the serological examinations in this case.
That's correct.
You did the DNA testing.
Yes.
So I want to talk about DNA, just broadly speaking. As far as DNA, how does DNA get transferred from, let's say, one person to an object or another person?
So typically it involves the transfer of a liquid biological fluid like saliva or semen or blood.
Okay. The jury might have heard previously from the FAY nurse considering touch DNA. Does that have a meaning within your scientific community?
It does. Touch DNA is what we typically consider that's been transferred from someone's hands to an object, but it's usually in really low quantities. Because of where the DNA is found in the cell, it's not usually found in the sloughed off skin that's just on your hands, for example.
Okay. And are there certain things that might make like a person's interaction with an object or something more likely to have touch DNA than not?
Yes.
And what are those things?
So typically we see them when, for example, there's a homicide and someone was being stabbed. Because of the friction with the weapon and the suspect or the perpetrator's hand, there would be more transfer of DNA than there would have been if someone were to have just touched a surface.
Does the surface that they're touching also potentially change the availability of this touch DNA?
Yes, so rough surfaces tend to slough off more DNA or cells than a smooth surface would.
What about like wet or moist versus dry surfaces?
The transfer is usually better if the DNA that's being transferred is in a wet state.
Okay.
The surface, I don't know, really matters particularly. It's the fluid that's being transferred.
Okay. As far as DNA testing, you do a portion of those come from like sex assault nurse examination kits or sex assault kits in your practice?
Yes.
Do you frequently do DNA and or serological examinations on those types or pieces of evidence?
Yes, those are the bulk of what we do.
So I want to talk specifically about the allegations in this case and the possibility or non-possibility of transfer of DNA. So specifically as it relates to a digital penetration of the anus or a finger penetrating the anus, would you expect to find, let's start with touch DNA in that type of mechanism?
There may be a transfer of some of the outer surface skin cells, but that's not typically where we find DNA. So I would not expect a lot of transfer of DNA in that scenario.
Let's talk about what other types of DNA based on that mechanism that I just talked about, would you might find?
So I would expect that in some cases, if there was saliva that was present on the fingers prior to penetration, then there may be more transfer than there would if it was a touch situation with just dry fingers.
As far as the amount, and I know, I'm sorry, this might sound graphic, but like the amount of saliva, would you expect if it was just like a quick lick and then an insertion to find saliva as a DNA source?
I would expect that the less saliva that's present, the less DNA that would be present, and vice versa.
But again, that would presume that there was saliva on the finger before it penetrated the anus.
Yes, that's correct.
I just kind of want to cut to the chase about your findings on this case. You didn't find any DNA foreign to the complainant in this case, correct?
That's correct.
Based on the mechanism of a finger being inserted into the anus, does that surprise you?
No, it does not.
And so your results are not inconsistent with that mechanism of injury.
That's correct.
Also want to talk about like when pieces of evidence as far as the sex assault kit are taken or the sample was taken. Is there a chance or a diminishing likelihood you're going to find DNA the farther it is out from the actual assault?
It depends on the circumstances, but typically people shower, once at least every few days, at least. And so I would say that the further out you get, yes, the less likely you would be to find foreign DNA from a specific scenario.
So like in this case, let's say give or take 36 hours after a finger penetrating the anus, would that also change the likelihood that you're actually going to find saliva as evidence, as biological evidence, or touch DNA as part of the evidence?
I would say that it would make it less likely, yes.
Okay. So again, consistent with the mechanism of the sexual assault as well as the timing of when the sample was taken.
Yes.
And at this time, Judge, I'll pass the witness.
Defense.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning.
And forgive me, could you repeat your name again?
Pamakal.
McCall?
Pamakal.
Pamakal. My name is Albert Flores and I represent Mr. Jose Raimundo Perez. I've just got a few questions for you. How long have you worked for the Bexar County Lab?
About 15 and a half years.
So when you actually have no investigative role in these types of cases, right?
That's correct.
Your role is basically to receive whatever items are packaged by the same nurse exam, right?
Yes.
And then you either analyze or review, in this case, you reviewed, right? The work of somebody else?
I did not. I actually did the DNA work.
You did the DNA work,
Yes.
but not the serology.
Correct.
Okay. So let's get to serology. A lot of the stuff is probably new for some of these jurors, but you said the first step in investigation where there is alleged DNA or suspected DNA is a serology analysis, correct?
Yes, at the time of this, that's the process.
So that the process has changed?
It has,
When did the process change?
2 months ago.
Okay, would you say that that is a better process now?
I would say that it is, yes.
And did you use that new process in this case?
No, it wasn't validated at the time.
And so did you resubmit these results for that?
No, but the DNA results that I have wouldn't be any different than they would have been at the time of analysis.
Okay, so based on what you know, this new process would not have changed anything.
Correct.
So explain to this jury, when you do a presumptive chemical test, what is that chemical test and what are you testing?
So are you asking for all of the presumptive chemical tests that we do?
Let's say in this case.
Okay, so I believe from my coworker's report that she did a possible test for saliva. And in this case, we take a very small cutting from the sample and put it in a tube. We have tablets that have a blue dye in them. In the presence of saliva, the enzyme that's in saliva breaks down the tablet and the liquid turns blue. So we can say we have a possible presumptive test for saliva.
So did somebody direct you to look for saliva or is that just what you do with everything?
Judge, at this point, I'm going to object. She has no personal knowledge. She's already testified that she didn't do the serology on this case.
If she knows.
All right, that'll be overruled. You can answer it if you know.
Can you repeat the question?
Were you directed to look for saliva?
I was not, no.
Was the tester in this case directed to look for saliva?
I don't know how she decided to test for saliva, if it was based on the hospital notes or the items that she had, I'm not sure.
So it's not in the regular course of business that you test every item for saliva.
We don't test every item for every biological fluid as a practice. It's scenario based typically, unless we don't know the scenario, then we will test everything.
So somehow, some way, that whoever made the decision had presumably information that would lead them to believe that there might be saliva.
Judge, I'm going to object. It calls for speculation.
Sustained.
Bottom line is a test for saliva was done
That's correct.
and it was positive, right?
Yes,
And was it positive on the vulva and the anal?
according to her report, yes.
Okay. And did they test to see whose saliva that was?
That would be my job as the DNA analyst.
So then you move on after you receive that presumptive test, which doesn't tell you anything other than there might be saliva.
Correct.
Now, I know science likes to deal with certainties, but why do you use the term might be saliva?
Because our presumptive tests are not confirmatory tests. We can only say that it's possible that saliva was present.
What is the percentage of possibility that there was saliva there?
I can't answer that.
So when you say there might be saliva, there also might not be saliva. Correct?
Our tests are specific to saliva, but they are not confirmatory. So I can't with 100% certainty say that it is saliva.
But based on that, you went to your follow-up tests, which is the search for DNA.
Yes,
And what did you find with that second test?
there was no foreign DNA to the complainant in this case.
And that's a term that you guys have to use, right? But let me ask you this, if I can clarify for you. That means that there was no DNA that did not belong to Marissa Salazar.
That's correct.
Okay. So nobody else's DNA was found on her.
That's correct.
And you did an analysis both of a vulva swab
Yes,
and an anal swab.
yes.
And would you have done both of those if you did not have information that it could have been either one of those?
I don't understand the question.
That was very confusing.
Yes.
So if somebody says that there was possibly sexual assault involving the anus, would you automatically investigate the vulva?
We typically do, yes,
Okay, so that is in the course of business, you do both.
yes,
Okay, so it was very thorough in this case.
yes.
And in this case, there was no DNA found that was full. I'm gonna use your words foreign, whereas the Salazar.
Yes, that's correct.
And just to summarize that, that means that nobody else's DNA was found on it.
That's right.
Now, Mr. Villarreal touched on the idea that there are certain situations that are more likely to deposit DNA than others.
Yes,
And you mentioned friction,
yes.
and explain to the jury what friction means.
So friction between two items, the more you rub two items together, the more transfer there's going to be, or more likely that biological materials or DNA is going to transfer from one item to the other.
Okay, so that means that there's more contact and stronger contact that might transfer into DNA?
Yes,
Okay, so potentially if there was contact that caused pain, there would be more likely to be a transfer of DNA.
I think pain is subjective.
If we assume that pain is caused by friction.
I would say that there's more, a higher likelihood for there to be DNA transfer, although still not 100%.
Do you, and this is I get different answers on this, but do you as a professional in this field ever watch true crime stories or 48 hours or things of that nature?
Very rarely.
And do you ever keep up with news of what the most recent and most current DNA and serology techniques are?
We do to an extent, yes.
And do you know about the case of the Golden State Killer?
Judge, I'm gonna object to the relevance.
Sustained.
She's an expert. She can testify about her experience and how it relates possibly in this case.
Sustained.
With respect to touch DNA, okay, there have been cases that have been where touch DNA has resulted in a conviction or the solution of a case, correct?
Without thinking of any specific examples, I would say that that's entirely possible.
No further question. I'll pass it on.
State.
Just a few questions, Judge.
Okay.
He briefly touched on the different process, how it changed about 2 months ago, and you said it's better. How is it better?
So instead of screening the evidence in sexual assault kits with our presumptive tests, we're actually taking them straight to DNA now. So whereas a presumptive test can say we possibly have a foreign material, we now take it straight to DNA and we can say with a lot more certainty that we have foreign DNA or we don't have foreign DNA, basically.
Okay, so it's fair to say that this new process just would capture potentially more sources of DNA, not less.
That's correct, yes.
He briefly touched on the serology and then you testified based on your colleague's report, there was presumed to be saliva, right?
Yes.
When you do your DNA analysis, are you able to trace, say, that DNA came from saliva?
No.
So you can't say that what you tested in the DNA that was Marissa Salazar, well, that's her saliva.
It could have been.
Could have been, but you cannot say that
I
it
cannot.
was.
I cannot.
I'll pass witness, Judge.
I
Defense.
have no further questions. Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject to recall?
From the state, she could be excused.
She's accused, Your Honor.
All right, the rule has been invoked. What that means is you can't discuss your testimony with anyone. The only persons you're allowed to speak to are attorneys for the state or the defense. All right, thank you. State, call your next witness.
Your Honor, at this time, the state rests.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you your lunch break. We are going to be back here at 1. All right, so remember my instructions. You're not allowed to discuss or deliberate the case amongst yourselves or in your head. You're not allowed to do any investigation work. If you see anything, disregard it. If somebody wants to speak to you about it, disregard it. So we'll be back here at 1. All right, everyone, please rise for the jurors.